Hello, probers.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome to But It Was Aliens, the extraterrestrial comedy podcast brought to you by possibly two of the sleepiest MIBs to ever roam the galaxy. And it just so happens that today we're not actually that sleepy compared to normal.
Seek for yourself.
I'm your host this week, the king of the street grannies, the prince with the perfect peach, and the bestest of best friends. Granny Moonwalker. And sitting opposite me, as always, is the tallest being to ever grace the universe. Forever the tallest in any room, and the one with the greatest grey beard you will ever lay your eyes on. Ben in the grey.
My name isn't Ben. Gosh damn it. Stop telling people that. Damn shop.
Hi, Ben.
Pretty sure they've forgotten that now. I'm back to being the weird guy with the dog.
Until next time.
I say that. There's a far weirder guy with a dog that lives around here. Oh, I'm always going to be number two in that regard, I think.
When you walk in, hey, number two.
Hey, number one. Would you like to play a game? I think when you say that we're sleepy, what actually happens is that we're either happy or sad, depending on the outcome of our sporting events of the prior evening. Theory.
I suppose we'd have to test that one next week.
I don't want to lose. I ain't throwing no game.
If we come in here and we're happy and alive, awake.
If you come in here and you're not alive.
If I come in here dead, the world's first ghost podcast.
Or zombie. Or vampire. That's a strong start in the research notes. Mr. Moonwalker has saved the research notes by the name of Ahrens, Ahrens. We've got a friend called Aaron. Aaron. Mr. Moonwalker's just slapped a huge photo, a close-up of his face, and started the research notes for no reason other than that. That one is just for me. But you needed to know why I was laughing. You've drunk half your rum already. Bloody hell.
Yeah. It's a good day. Might do. It's 19...
Staring at me, Aaron.
It's 1976.
Stop.
Dan and Joyce Ahrens were going to bed after putting their children to bed. 3-year-old Daniel and 1-year-old Heather. When a bizarre red light suddenly lit up their bedroom. First thoughts was that there was a fire outside. But when Dan went to speak to Joyce, no matter how hard he tried, no words or even sounds would leave his lips. It was at this point that they knew they couldn't move.
And they had a nightlight.
Paralysis, baby!
Ooh, this could be aliens.
Both completely befuddled by what was happening around them, and both shit scared.
This is a pretty quick start. There's no build-up here.
The picture for you was the build-up. It's to get you in the mood.
That put me out of the mood. I do have a question, but I'm going to wait.
This episode of Paralysis ended as soon as the red light vanished from the room, turning it back to darkness. This seemed to only last a few seconds. Realising that they now had full control of their bodies, Dan made a beeline for the window to see if he could see anything strange, but he couldn't see a thing. Both parents then turned their attention to their daughter, who was in the crib in the same room.
In the crib.
Little baby Heather was fully awake and standing in her cot, when seconds ago she was fast asleep. Although both were confused as to what the hell just happened, they put little baby Heather back to sleep and then just went to sleep themselves. And it wasn't until many, many years later that they even brought up this event again.
Hypnotic regression, baby. Things happened. Two things. Firstly, when you were talking about Dan and Joyce, in my mind, they were the 1 and 3-year-old. So I was getting very confused when you said that they were talking to each other and whatnot. And yeah, then I realised that was the parents and we weren't focusing on Daniel and Heather. Light as a feather, but never did she ever clap her hands together. Well, I've lost my trail of thought.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Never in my life have I heard that.
I don't think I have. It just came out. Right, context. I clearly need to give some. I have a 20-month-old daughter at time of recording.
Don't you put this on her.
I'm not putting it on her, I'm putting it on me, but to entertain her, I will make a song out of everything that we see or do. And clearly I'm now doing that to you because we have a similar relationship. Get your footsies!
Papa John!
Oh, gosh. What was I going to say?
So we have a similar relationship to
Apparently.
you and your daughter.
Because that just came out.
Does that mean that you love me unconditionally?
Yeah, son. I got you. And if you need your back rub to go to sleep, I'll be there. That's what I was going to say. So, similar tangent, actually. We obviously have a camera watching her during the night to make sure she's all right and whatnot. And it's semi-regularly, she will just stand up. And sometimes she'll settle herself back down. Sometimes you need to go in and lay her back down. Because it's night vision, the eyes look freaky and demonic when they stand up. But that's not unusual, I guess is what I was going to say, that the child was standing up. Because they do that.
Yeah, they do.
And they will sometimes do that 3 or 4 times before they go down for the night. You walk out, think they're asleep, turn the camera on. They're stood there looking straight at the camera.
Come back. You haven't settled me. I need a story. And some milk.
When they did decide to look into the events of this strange night, they contacted a researcher. And after they explained everything, they would discover that they are not the only ones in the house that experienced something that night, and many nights after.
Ooh. Not Heather. What's the other one? Baby Dan. Dada Dan.
When little baby Heather
Not Heather.
was 11, she had been suffering from nightmares. Nightmares that would involve a giant monster with a strange eye in which she could see her reflection in. And we have that picture.
All right, let me just go over that again, because that picture does not weigh up with what I was expecting. So she could... That's a monster that you're showing me. That looks like a very typical grey, but with the weirdest uneven nostrils. Most people have uneven nostrils, little known fact. Mine are very uneven. But that is...
You never expect a grey to have uneven nostrils.
Well,
why not?
There's uneven. They're a similar shape to the point you can't really notice unless you really, really stare close. Those ones you can see a mile off.
What if
one is north and one is east?
Has been bopped in the nose.
This one has definitely been popped in both nostrils.
Bopped in one.
Someone has bopped him right on the beak. Because, one is vertical, as you'd kind of expect. And the other one is off on a proper tangent. Like, 65 degrees compared to 90 on the other? They basically make a triangle together.
They do.
What's tickled you? Someone bop you one.
So, what tickled me is the fact that we use the terminology bop
For something else.
for something else when we were in high school, and it only just dawned on me.
That's what I was referring to all along.
Mine was just like someone punching him in the nose.
That's why I said both nostrils.
And then the other meaning came to mind.
Yeah.
Like Greybeard explained, the picture that we saw would, to us, look like a typical grey. But to an 11-year-old child, that thing could look like a monster.
Oh, it is a monster. I mean, I'd argue that greys are monsters, really.
Joyce would explain that when Heather showed them the picture when she was young, Both her and Dan didn't know what to think or really what she was even talking about, and believed that she just had a bad dream.
Technically, she had.
She did. They didn't read into that anymore. So the more the Ahrens...
For Christ's sake, more pictures of Aaron, including one of him at about 11 years old in a full Leeds United football kit. Thank you. The more Ahrens.
delved into the events, they realised that something had also happened to their son Daniel. Dan would recall that on multiple occasions when they would wake up, they would go to Daniel's room and he wouldn't be there. They would look around the house and always find him in another room, sometimes under the table or even in a closet. They now believe that he was trying to hide from something.
Oh, I was thinking he was being abducted repeatedly and then turning up somewhere else, hiding because of his experiences. That's less extreme, slightly more believable.
15 years following the main event, Dan had something truly strange happen to him. Joyce would go on to recall that she got a call from her husband while he was at work asking her to come and collect him and take him to the hospital. He would say that during the drive his heart was pounding. He was struggling to breathe and thought that he was having a heart attack. Doctors quickly established that he wasn't having a heart attack. However, they didn't know what the problem was. Several doctors examined him and his symptoms, and one possibility was that he was having a series of panic attacks, perhaps caused by severe stress. From that point, Dan became a recluse.
You're a recluse, Dan.
He couldn't do anything, couldn't work, and couldn't leave the house. He quickly came to the conclusion that there was nothing physically wrong with him, but that there appeared to be something mentally wrong. Perhaps of more importance was the feeling that Dan had something in the back of his mind that was trying to come out. And boy, does it come out.
Dan wants something to come out?
From the back of his mind.
Okay.
While watching the movie Communion at home, Dan had a
Say something
sudden
dirty.
revelation.
Can you say erection? You remember that, right?
Mm-hmm. He recalled that there was a particular scene in the movie where this little alien peeked around from behind a doorway.
Damn it, wrong scene.
As soon as the scene came on, Dan just burst into tears,
Oh, shit.
recalling how he immediately noticed these piercing eyes staring from behind the door. For a split second, he had a flashback of what had happened in 1976.
Oh, I can't remember what year Communion was, but it was after E.T., I guess. So I guess in my mind, and this is not really worth mentioning now that I think about it, that a film like E.T. might not set you off, whereas something like Communion's a bit more freaky and abduction-y. So, yeah, can understand it. And where does something like A Flight of the Navigator fall? Where it's a happy abduction, but technically it's an abduction.
You could ask the same about Mac and Me. Quite a lot of alien films back then.
I was going to say Alf, but I meant Paul. Alf. Alf was an alien, though. That little furry, hairy guy who ate cats. Oh, no. See? Same relationship.
A week or so later, while watching TV once more, Dan saw a program that featured psychiatric therapist John Carpenter.
Isn't that a guy who made movies? John Carpenter's Vampires?
I think so. Probably a different
I
John
really
Carpenter.
liked that Vampires film. That was cool. First one. The second one was like Vampires Los Mariquas or something along those lines that wasn't as good. My dad really liked vampire films, so he used to get them all on DVD no matter what it
Ginger
was.
Snaps.
Yeah. Wasn't that a werewolf one technically? But
Same vein.
yeah, monster films, but vampires were his thing.
John Carpenter, not the movie director, had also worked quite extensively with people who claimed, or at least suspected, that they had been victims of alien abduction. and he had referrals from other therapists, including Mr. Bud Hopkins.
No. John Carpenter's a really busy man.
Dan eventually contacted Hopkins and began to put together just what happened that evening in 1976. Slowly. As soon as they began speaking, and Dan began telling Hopkins of the strange evening in the mid-70s, the panic attacks, the intense, strange reaction he had to the Communion movie, Dan was cautioned that they may well find other explanations other than alien abduction. Dan would undergo hypnotic regression, and those other possibilities were never a possibility.
It just came out of nowhere.
During that session, as Dan was taken back to that evening in 1976, he said that a strange figure was showing him something.
Uh-oh. The other possibilities were never a possibility.
Yeah.
My mind just keeps going over that sentence and I can't move on. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. What?
Well, he said that there could be other possibilities, but we know those other possibilities were never a possibility.
But why are they a possibility then? You made my brain explode.
The object that he was being shown was metal like a little spade.
Oh, thank gosh.
And then Dan added, "It's going to hurt."
Oh no, right back to being bad.
Initially, Dan kept the details of the session to himself. However, a short time after beginning these sessions, Joyce began to have her own flashback recollections, more than just flashbacks. Joyce recalled that the conscious memories just came back. Following these sudden recollections, Joyce also visited Carpenter in order to undergo hypnotic regression. And it wasn't long before Carpenter realised that not only had both the Ahrens likely been abducted, they had likely been abducted at the same time.
With the kids?
Unsure. Doesn't mention whether all... Actually, I think it does mention later that all four were abducted, but I don't know if that one time did.
So the research notes have the top of an image here, and I'm willing to bet money that this isn't a picture of the Ahrens family, but of Aaron, possibly, and his family.
Why would you think that?
Yeah. Gosh darn it. Well, that's lost my trail of thought again, hasn't it? As expected.
That first night, shared abduction. Dan recalled that on the night in question, he was cowering in the corner of the bed and was scared to death.
Dan or Daniel, sorry?
Dan.
Dan, you're the man.
There was a little being at the foot of the bed. There was also another one with Joyce and another one at the crib where little baby Heather had been sleeping.
Sweet baby Heather. Do beds have feet?
Technically,
No.
some
Technically.
did.
What's a foot though?
The bottom of the bed, where
Is
your
it-
feet go.
Is it not something that sits on the bottom of your leg and is fleshy and bony? Or is it a measurement of length? Do beds
Both.
have feet? Ooh. Can they run?
I think old beds used to have,
Sleigh beds have.
like, where you,
But is it
like,
for
if you had a bed where you put the wheel in at the bottom, or like you screwed something in at
a
the
really
bottom of
good bed?
I need to find like a sound effect or a snippet, something where it just goes, "Dad joke." Just put that in. Joyce recalled seeing 3 entities. One of them touched her arm, causing her to sit up in the bed. She watched as they took Heather out of the crib and began to carry her off.
No, not the baby.
She said years later that they're in such control that you can't do anything. adding further that you literally sit there watching them kidnap your child and you can't do anything about it.
That is legitimately awful. But why can't you throw hands?
Paralysed.
Throw them anyway.
Dan corroborated seeing this and the overwhelming feeling of helplessness as they watched the events unfold. Under regression, Dan recalled one of the beings heading towards the crib, and he recalled that he was unable to move and had no control over what was happening.
God, I hope we hear from Heather at some point.
Joyce says that both her and her husband were marched outside by these strange beings before all the family were floated onto a spaceship. She further states that she never wanted it to happen to her children and that she didn't realise until later that it had. While it was now clear the entire Ahrens family had seemingly been subject to something extraterrestrial, it wouldn't be until later, when Heather was in her early 20s, that she would agree to undergo hypnotic regression therapy. And the revelations would come.
She was 1. How reliable can this regression be? She wasn't even old enough to formulate thoughts.
But she was still having nightmares and everything at 11. So...
yeah, but if the family have been harping on about being abducted, these kids have grown up in that environment. It's part
they
of
never
their
mentioned
being.
it until their therapy.
They're mentioning it now.
After their therapy.
Oh, this isn't pleasant now, is it? It really isn't pleasant. It's so alien to me, excuse the pun, the thought of being paralysed. I appreciate for some people that is their lived experience. If that's not your lived experience, it's very hard to consider and understand what that could be like.
It's fucking horrible. When my hand was all fucked up and paralysed, it was...
Did you use the other one?
I had to.
But some people don't have that luxury,
No.
do they? They're completely... Like, to just be trapped in your mind, I guess, that's a scary place for me to be.
Like, when I was... I had to keep going to like physical therapy, and you're literally placing your arm on the table and they're going, move a finger, and it's not moving no matter how much you try. It's a horrible feeling.
And then one day, slowly, Mr. Moonwalker's hand started twitching.
Twitched.
And his hand turned around.
I got a fucking boner.
I was going to say, the middle finger slowly started rising at the therapist, but no, he got hard.
My finger moved. Boing. I'm alive.
Stood up proud. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
That clearly isn't how it happened, but it was a very joyous moment to have my hand move.
Very, very joyous. So good.
I was ecstatic. What Dan and Joyce had learned during their hypnotic regression sessions,
My eyes are watering.
they made a special effort not to discuss in front of the children. They both suspected that they too had been abducted by these entities, but they didn't want to influence their own potential suppressed memories of the events. To begin with, Heather was a little dubious about hypnotic regression and whether it would reveal anything of consequence. However, as soon as she started, memories and flashes were at the forefront of her mind almost immediately.
Wasn't too hard to unlock, that's a concern.
She recalled that one of the beings had taken her out of her room and that she was taken on board something. The strange creature repeatedly asked her if she wanted to play,
No.
but if she wanted to play telepathic games.
Still no.
To which Heather always answered that she didn't and that she wanted to go home.
Yeah. If my daughter's peed off or upset, she will literally just go, no. Unless you say cake. Okay.
We have discovered a weakness. We too share a similar bond.
She likes those ones that you like, actually, with the sprinkles on top.
Told you. They're the best. Daniel was a little scared to find out what had happened. Whenever his parents spoke about the encounter, even to themselves, Daniel found listening to the details too emotional. He would, though, eventually agree to undergo hypnotic regression. Carpenter would highlight the recurring dream that had plagued Daniel since he was a young child, stating that this dream would be an ideal exploration point, as it likely was triggered by suppressed memories of a very real event. After taking Daniel through the basics of hypnotic regression, including reassuring him that just because his family had bizarre events happen didn't mean that he would, or that he'd even been subjected to them. He then took him back to his childhood when he was around 5 years old, and he would guide him to the recurring dreams, asking him where he was when the dreams began.
I don't like it, but continue.
Daniel responded that he was in bed and could hear a noise that sounded like a can dropping. When asked where the sound was coming from, Daniel would say that it was coming from the garage and that there's something in the garage.
Don't go in the garage.
At this point, he would recall feeling so scared that he didn't even want to look. Suddenly, he realised he was no longer in his room, but somewhere completely different. A location he recalled that he had never seen anything like before. He further states that these mysterious surroundings were stony, which is an intriguing detail in itself.
Was the garage an old brick garage? Because lots of them are, aren't they? They have like stone-esque walls.
They do, but we don't know what theirs was like.
We don't, but if you heard a noise in the garage...
98% possibly, yeah.
This kid went into the garage and found his parents' secret room. I'm not taking that any further. So, putting that to one side swiftly... God, I can't put it to one side. Help. Right. He disappeared from his bedroom and was suddenly, presumably, in a stony craft. We don't hear that often, but smooth stone and smooth metal would both be cold and feel potentially similar. How do they know it's stone?
Stone would feel rougher than...
Well, if it's rough, but what's a smooth stone feel like? You know, one of the ones you skim across water, for example. That's stone. And
probably not metal.
If you had a bit of metal like that and a bit of stone like that, it's a lot harder to tell the difference. So the fact that it's stone doesn't really... We need to know what the texture is like, really. To me, stony suggests cold, and that's about all I can pull from it. Could have been on a cold UFO. Maybe they got aircon. Might get hot in there if they're using some sort of gravity manipulating propulsion technique. Who knows what sort of heat that might or might not come with. I mean, yeah, I don't have a degree in bullshit, so it's hard to imagine.
You got a master's.
The master of bullshit.
There were further revelations.
I mean, this is pretty messed up, isn't it? I hope these children are genuinely okay.
Daniel recalled seeing two strange beings standing in front of him. He described them as being tall with real long fingers.
Why?
Big heads and dark eyes. It appeared that Daniel was recalling the entities walking towards him. Despite the fear he was feeling, he described that these beings had no hair, no ears, and a mouth like a coin slot. Grace, baby.
That is absolutely grey.
The figure that was coming towards him had something in his hand that looked like a shiny stick, and he elaborated that this stick also appeared wand-like, and the figure was making it move in front of him.
He's a wizard!
Swinging his dick.
All that! A naked wizard!
It then appears that the figure places the stick either on or in the back of Daniel's head, whatever this stick was. And when it was placed to his head...
It's got creepy.
It hurt.
It's got really creepy.
I reckon it's one of those... You know, like when you see sci-fi films and then they connect that like plug into the back of someone's head.
Like the Matrix.
Like the Matrix, yeah. Similar to that. When Daniel was brought out of hypnosis after several hours, Carpenter said, "That wasn't a dream, was it, Dan?" To which Daniel replied, "No." Carpenter also asked Daniel before the session if there were any strange marks, bruises or cuts that he had suddenly noticed on his body, to which he replied that he could remember one specific time when he did discover something. He recalled waking up one morning and, like he did every morning, heading to the bathroom. However, this particular morning he discovered a spoon-shaped mark on his left inner thigh. He immediately told his father of the mark, saying that he didn't know where it had come from or how he had got it. And to his shock, his father had discovered the exact same mark in the exact same place on his body.
Uh-oh.
The Ahrens family not only believed that they had been victims of a repeated alien abduction, but that at least one of their grandchildren had also received visits from these potentially dangerous creatures. The grandchild referred to them as his little buddies that came into his room to play, and on one occasion, following what would have likely been an encounter, he told his grandmother that he wanted to watch the ship leave.
Got lots of visitations going on here then.
We have.
Ooh. Oh.
If a sign of random marks on your body that you're not aware of is a sign of abduction, and fuck me, I've been abducted so many times. Like, the amount of bruises and cuts and everything that I wake up with.
But didn't that
Unreal.
creature get you outside the old extraterrestrial towers after we covered that episode talking about
Yes.
attacking you?
That
So I
wasn't
reckon-
just, that was a giant fucking bruise, that was.
On the note of giant, they've described these creatures as very tall and long fingers. Now, if creatures come from a different planet that has an abundance of oxygen, for example, when Earth was younger, we had dinosaurs, big creatures, it stands to reason that creatures would be really big. But as civilizations develop and things become more advanced, war is no more. It's more energy efficient to be smaller, and you can do more with nimble, small hands in terms of creating technology and typing or whatever equivalent there may be.
You've also got to think, these are things that they saw as children.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they could have
good
been
point.
short to an adult, but
Yeah.
tall to a child.
Okay, I was just going to say, yeah, because usually we hear depictions of greys being short kind of for that reason, that
And yeah,
they've
it's,
gone past the point of needing to physically compete, and it's, yeah,
and it's only
giant
the
heads, tiny
children
bodies.
that have described them as being giant or
So the
tall.
parents kick the crap out of them, presumably, is what you're about to tell me, because they were tiny. Joyce was unparalysed and punted one right in the gooch.
Huge. This is the part of the probe where
Kicked it
we
like a
turn
field goal.
to science and skepticism. There is also the fact that some people, mainly skeptics,
Like yourself.
that were more suspicious of the Ahrens family, saying that they may have concocted the whole thing
No.
before the regression sessions took place.
Regression session.
But Carpenter points out that while not completely out of question, it rests upon them knowing all of the trick questions and leading suggestions, and then how to successfully navigate out of them. And these are most often unique to the person conducting the session in that case. It was Carpenter.
But they might have just not been under.
He also highlights
You're telling me the
how there
skepticism.
are simply many details they wouldn't know about. There are many details that they wouldn't know about, and they would be looking for markers for truthfulness and reliability with other abduction data. Although not completely impossible, it would be highly unlikely that 4 people would have been able to orchestrate such a hoax, and that they were equally likely to be very credible people whose accounts should perhaps be treated more seriously than they might be from some.
That sounds like the opinion of a believer who had already decided that this was real or wanted to prove that it was real before they started researching it. Because not everyone goes under with hypnosis. Some people are more suggestible than others.
Do you think if you're someone that's probably suggestible, but you really don't want to go under, you could stop yourself going under?
Me personally, or in general? Sorry.
In general. I don't think you could be hypnotised. You're too much of a skeptic.
It's what I think. I might get this wrong the way around, so apologies. It's because I studied hypnosis as part of a previous course many years ago, and neuro-linguistic programming. I really can't remember which way it is, but I think, is it if you really, really pay attention to everything, so you're really switched on and you're trying to take in everything, then you're less suggestible, and the people who go under easier are those who drift off and start to visualise what they're being told. Their mind takes them off on tangents and whatnot. Is it that way around rather than the other? If
it's that way around, then there are times I will literally be just put under.
There are hypnosis shows where they'll do some stuff with the audience before selecting the audience members, and they'll be tracking which ones are more suggestive to the things they're doing before they get like the 10 on stage and now you're a chicken.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I could remember all that better.
Have you ever been a chicken?
No, I've never been hypnotised.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Now sleep. What would you do if you if you listen back to this podcast and there's like a 10-minute section of me just telling you to do silly shit that you have no recollection of?
That'd be amazing.
Right. What I was going to say about these folks, not necessarily that they're hoaxing it, they might also just believe it. They, like, the parents had a funny night and they've spoken about that inadvertently with the children when they were young. It's become part of the children's personality, their subconscious and whatnot, without the parents knowingly having done that. They think they're not talking about it in front of them, but they've actually made it weirder by not doing it and sort of communicating in different ways with each other when the children are around. So it's become part of this whole family's being. They all then grow up to believe
that happened.
Yeah. When actually what happened is that there was a funny little laser being shown through the window by a kid in the park, like we used to do when we were 14.
Yep.
And had a bad night's sleep. Maybe they were on the sauce or something similar. Or maybe a raccoon got in the garage, made some noise. So many possibilities that haven't been considered by this really, really strong carpenter chap.
So to summarise, we have the case of the Ahrens, a family who in 1976 were subjected to a strange red light and paralysis. They didn't think anything of it, but years later decided to find out what had happened, so contacted a UFO researcher in Carpenter. Along with Bud, they delved into the mind of the family by using hypnotic regression therapy, and what they uncovered was that the family had what is known as a shared abduction. They were led onto the ship, but there's no recollection of a slabbing, and over the years, when the children were older, they too had hypnotic regression therapy, and too recalled events that had happened to them, not just that night, but throughout their life. But what was happening, but was also happening to one of their grandchildren too.
So, they don't recall being slabbed, but they did find suspicious marks on themselves that suggested experimentation.
I mean,
are there gaps in what they remembered in the regression?
Do suspicious marks mean experimentation?
Absolutely.
Then yes. They were experimented.
It's the only possibility. Anything else is not a possibility. Well, I'm struggling to come round on is whether they believe themselves or not. Do you cover what the source is? Was it published by Bud and Mr. Carpenter?
I do not know where it came from.
Do we know that this family definitely existed?
Yes. Okay. So this family I cannot remember the name of it, but there's a TV show that covered stuff like this, and they appeared on that show. This is a real family that exists.
Okay, like Unsolved Mysteries kind of thing.
Yeah, similar to that.
So did they do the circuits promoting their story? Did they release books or anything? Or is this just...
No books or anything other than this show. That's all we know.
Okay, I don't really know.
So,
Right.
what I'm asking you, Greybeard, do you believe that this was aliens? Or is this a case of hypnotic regression malpractice?
I wouldn't say... Well, or is it malpractice? I was going to go down the line of the regressors, the hypnotists, want to prove what they want to prove, so it's all led towards this outcome, way. But maybe that is malpractice. Like, if you want to prove that someone's got a broken leg, so you break it, do you know what that is? Malpractice, isn't it? Never looked at it that way. But I believe in possibilities, sir.
So you believe it's real?
It could be real.
So you're saying it's aliens?
I believe that it is a possibility that it could be aliens. It's not the possibility I believe. I am not saying that it was aliens. I'm just really on the fence about... I wish I could see an interview, like a video recorded interview with this family to try and get a sense of their...
What they're like.
Yeah. Because at the moment it feels like they were kind of doing the rounds, but then we don't have much evidence of that. So what's the motivation? Did they just believe in aliens themselves? I don't know.
So
I could easily be told that they believe it.
For me, I think they believe it. So I think they had a strange experience one night, and like with most people that have claimed abduction and everything around this time, they've seen a TV show or they've seen something and gone, that's something similar that happened to me.
Yeah.
And I think they reached out to the researchers that wanted it to be true. So the hypnotic regression was led down a path rather than the truth of what happened that night. So I don't think it's a hoax by the family, and I believe that they believe it's real. I just don't believe it's real. I think the researchers wanted it to be real, so guided them towards that inevitable conclusion.
Yeah. That feels comfortable for me.
Which is a fucked up thing to do, but people do fucked up things.
Yeah. Can you explain the context to me of the frog on your laptop?
The lap dancing Freddo frog.
I hadn't even noticed that one. There's a frog with its butt out on your laptop. I was referring to the one that's dancing above it, black and white. Could be a toad.
Oh, that one. I don't know, just two toads dancing with bells on their feet.
Just...
I don't understand how you went to that one and didn't see the lap dancing Freddo frog.
I know. But...
Disappointments.
They're just...
All of you.
Where did they come from? Why? Why?
I bought a couple of T-shirts and
they came
some
with
stickers.
Okay.
Came in. Stickers ended up on the laptop.
That's where stickers end up. That was an interesting sound that came from above us when there's nothing above us. It's just empty space in the loft. They're coming. You hear another 10 minutes of audio of you getting slabbed. No, not the pointy thing. The bigger one.
So. Thank you for joining us for this week's probe. You can find us everywhere at But It Was Aliens. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And on Facebook, we have a secret group known as Extraterrestrial Towers, where you can find memes and shit. Over at Patreon.com/But It Was Aliens, you can gain access to Side Probes, the paranormal spin-off of But It Was Aliens. Here we look outside the extraterrestrial and everywhere else in the world, covering pirates, tractor bummers, ghosts.
Did they bum it or did they do it from the front?
I think
Did we ever
Can you
resolve
bum
it?
something that doesn't have a bum? He bopped at one.
He bopped
Ghosts.
the tractor.
Princes that love to peg. Ghost dogs and Rasputin's dick.
Can you bum something without a bum? Find out on today's episode.
Remember, the truth is up there. Or not. Hashtag proper.